鹿児島県出身テッドこと三好拓馬さんによります私の自己中論です。三好さん、よろしくお願いいたします。
皆さんこんにちは。鹿児島県鹿児島市出身のテッドこと三好拓馬です。皆さんお待ちかね3番目のテッドでございます。テッドじゃない、拓馬でございます。はい、ありがとうございます。今回このねミステリーボックスと一緒にお送りいたします。はい、今笑うとこですよ。すいませんね。こうやってね、もう今のところアドリブ全部でやっておりますけれども、こうやってめちゃくちゃにするのもね、このタイトル通りお察しがつくと思います。はい、アドリブはこの辺にしといて、皆さんは今何かに依存しているものはありますか？ではコア君いるか？はい、いません。準備してたんですけれども、コア君はいつもの通りね、いませんということで、はい、そのまま応じてはい、ということで自分に自信が持てず何かに依存してしまうという人もいるかもしれません。今まで何にも依存してこず自分に自信しか持ってこなかったこの私が今回特別に自分に自信を持つその極意を教えてあげましょう。ありがとうございます。自分に自信が持てないあなたがこんな人もいるんだと少しでもホッとできるようなスピーチを送りたいと思います。それではお聞きください。私の自己中論。The limits of my language and recognition of the limits of the world. Wittgenstein's solipsism. This means all I know is what I perceive or have perceived. That in essence makes up everything in my world. It's my world itself. When I was a child, I felt a certain doubt in my daily life. Do others truly have brains just like mine? And do they think in the same way? I could say that this question was the beginning of my thinking. You meet various people in your daily life, just as we have our own world. Others have their own world, and everyone has their own way of life. We cannot fully understand each other's world. There's no way you can. Nevertheless, don't you Japanese people who live today worry too much about other people's world and feelings that you cannot understand? Having said that, I want to make it clear that understanding other feelings is very important in human relationships. But don't Japanese people who live today worry too much about other people's world and feelings that you cannot understand? Well, can you guess what I just did on? Though you may be able to imagine it from a sound, but I don't think you can truly understand if it's what you expected, right? The answer is a pear. Please raise your hand if you got it right. Nobody. You can see じゃない。You don't know what I did until you see it or ask me, right? You can see other people's emotions, so you have no choice but to ask. a certain teaching in the Rinzai sect of Buddhism. 一切唯心像 The significance and result of the various beings and phenomena that appear in your field of vision were brought entirely your own choices. It's up to you to decide whether they are virtuous or evil. If your mind is clouded, any world will look dirty. Simply put, you are the main character in your life. In today's world, there are many people who blame others for everything. They didn't choose it themselves, but instead, they make decisions based on those around them and blame others when they fail. Don't you think this is boring life? They didn't choose it themselves, but instead blame others for their failures. Even though life is entirely on one, so they don't have any control by themselves. You only live once, so make a decision at your own risk. Take an action at your responsibility. Then, failure to success. Mr. Minami says it's important to do things for others, but I only act for myself. If you only consider this aspect, you think I'm an extremely selfish person. I'll give you an example. Mr. X did something nice for me in the past, so I will do something in return. This is common peaceful thinking, right? However, my thinking is I do something because I want to do it for this person. It's what makes me happy. I am, in a sense, dependent on myself. In a true sense, believing in yourself and being confident means depending on yourself, right? If you want to live your awesome, splendid life, it's not too late. You are solipsist. Always believe only in yourself and depend only on yourself. That was a bit of an exaggeration. However, wouldn't your life be richer and easier just by having the idea of prioritizing your thoughts as your absolute core? René Descartes, who like Wittgenstein advocated solipsism, said, I think, therefore I am. 我思う、ゆえに我ある。No matter what changes around you, the fact that you exist will never change. Live your life in your self-centered way. あなたの人生、自分らしく、自己中に生きていきましょう。Thank you for listening.
ありがとうございました。では、アンドリュー先生、コメントお願いします。
Thank you, Ted, for a very philosophical, very interesting, and very amusing speech. I really like the way you did it. You gave exaggerations that make us laugh, but they also raise very important points, especially in Japan. Of course, especially as an American, earlier there was a speech about individualism and collectivism. As an American, I really appreciate that in Japan, people really care about each other, but it's also very sad to me that a lot of Japanese people think too much about other people, and they live life more for other people than themselves. One thing that I thought of when you gave the example of giving a gift, like you do it because you want to, not because you expect something in return. I love Japan, but sometimes the obligation to return a gift because someone did something nice to you, that's a lot of pressure, and there are so many rules and so many expectations. I have a really hard time with that. So, of course, it's not good to be completely about yourself, but I do think that there's a lot of value in what you said about placing more emphasis on yourself and living your own life. So, thank you very much.
Thank you.
では、ガチンとコメントをお願いいたします。
反省して僕も明日から自己注意になると思ってるんですけど。
一応和製で来てください、ちゃんと。
いや、素晴らしい自己中論ですね。今のアンドリュー先生の話ですと、日本人はちょっと過ぎてると相手の人のことを思うね、他人のことを考える。でもよく考えると本当は他人のことを考えてないからそうなるんじゃないかなと思うこともありますよね。義理とかいろんなのを感じすぎるからそうなんだとは言いますけれども、本当は義理とかそういうことじゃなくて自己中だからそうするのかもしれないですね、本当はですね。だからやっぱり今君が分析したように自己中とは自分に依存することである。これはいいメッセージだと思いますね。これからそういうふうにもう君かなり自己中だと思いますのでこれからも大いにその自己中論を世界中に広めて頑張ってください。ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。